Hey, what's up, everybody? Gaming Hearts 1 here, and today I'm going to talk briefly about DBZ and what a lot of people consider to be the best Dragon Ball Z game ever made. Now, as many people know, the DBZ series has been around since 1989, I believe, and it became very popular throughout the 90s, going into the early 2000s, and since then there's been countless games that's come out as it relates to DBZ on various game systems, from the SNES to the to PlayStation, the PS2, the PS3, Xbox 360, PS4, you name it. And a lot of people feel that within the past decade or so, we just saw some of the best games or best DBZ games ever made. And a lot of people are talking about Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, which came out back in, I believe this game came out back in 2020, and it was a game that it pretty much felt like the legacy of Goku series that came out in the 2000s, all put into one, with better visuals, better storytelling. You could play as more characters. It was something that a lot of people had nothing but good things to say about it. And then we also had the two Xenoverse games that came out during the teens decade. I believe Xenoverse 1 came out in 2015, and Xenoverse 2 came out in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. Both games were praised for their creative storylines that allows you to create your own custom character and time travel, and I guess see alternate stories in relation to famous arcs within the Dragon Ball Z series, whether it be the Saiyan arc or the Namek arc or the Android arc or the Buu arc or what have you. But in terms of just fun and just nonstop gameplay and high replay value, a lot of people will go on record and say the Dragon Ball FighterZ game from 2018 was probably the best DBZ game that we've ever seen, because the game, never in a million years did a lot of people think they were going to see a Dragon Ball Z game that was pretty much designed to be like Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and that's basically what FighterZ felt like, except it had an actual a storyline, and it had arcs that people can complete. There was three different arcs, if I'm not mistaken. You had the Super Warrior arc, the Enemy arc, and the Android 21 arc, and I believe the game had more than one ending, which added to its replay value. It took a while for people to complete the game in the entirety, and if people complete all the campaign stuff in relation to Dragon Ball FighterZ, they can partake in online multiplayer gameplay, which is something that a lot of people really enjoyed about that game, and I believe people still play to this day. In fact, a lot of people are waiting for a sequel for Dragon Ball FighterZ, if there's ever going to be one. And there's no question that this game blew Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite from 2017 out of the water in terms of art design, gameplay, and overall just replay value, because the gaming experience that you got in Dragon Ball FighterZ exceeded a lot of people's expectations, and the graphics and all that stuff looked like something you would see in an actual anime. It was just so crisp and so bright, and it's something that will age well 10 years from now, because it was something that, honestly, I feel like it was something that was memorable, that I guess all the older DBZ games that came out before FighterZ, and even the Xenoverse stuff, they were okay. Well, actually, they were hit and miss depending on what games you played. But for the most part, the best DBZ games that came out in the 2000s, I think, were on Game Boy Advance or PlayStation 2. If you were a fan of the Budokai series or the Tekkaichi series or what have you, but the gameplay in those older games were not as fast paced as what we got in Dragon Ball FighterZ. And then you look at Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, pretty much the same thing. You got fast-paced gameplay. The visuals look incredible, and honestly, I feel like that particular game, along with FighterZ, are going to stand the test of time years from now. And who knows? I'm just talking about within the moment. FighterZ might be the greatest DBZ game of all time for right now, and if it's not the greatest of all time, I think it's definitely one of the greatest Dragon Ball Z fighting games of the teens decade.